I'm BlimBlam, O Haraktain, spyglass captain of the drowned horizon. And what I'm about to tell you isn't a legend or a warning tale meant to scare children away from the dark. It's one of several unresolved events the Thistle Thieves have personally encountered, moments that refuse to settle into neat explanations. This is the Thorns of the Thistle. This account begins at Obsidian Gate. At first light, patrol riders found footprints in the dust, not scattered, not panicked, deliberate. Some were barefoot, some bore the weight of armor, some were pressed so deeply into the earth it looked as though the ground itself had yielded in recognition. Every set faced Obsidian Gate. None led away. Barefoot was the first to hear something before he saw anything. It was dusk. The training field was empty. No laughter. No clatter of practice. No foe was singing through the air. And then the sound came, low and rolling, carried on the wind like breath through stone. Not words, but cadence. A rhythm that settled into the chest before the mind could make sense of it. It reminded him of vows, not the loud ones shouted for crowds, but the quiet kind spoken when no one is listening, except whatever you believe in. Barefoot didn't reach for his weapon. He stood still, listening. There was a sadness in the sound, and a resolve, the kind that doesn't ask permission to exist. Later that night, Jamas Jem Havan noticed the animals refusing their shelters. They weren't panicked, they weren't agitated, they simply would not move. When Jamas knelt to calm them, she saw the marks in the dust nearby, perfect indentations, pressed deep and precise. Kneeling marks, not chaotic, organized, disciplined. She traced one with her fingers. Without fully touching it, her breath caught, not in fear, but in recognition. There are stances you don't forget. There are postures the body remembers, even when the world tells you to abandon them. She said nothing, but she stayed with the animals long after she should have gone inside. That same evening, Miktakantakulpi and Barefoot stood together near Obsidian Gate. The air felt heavier there, not threatening, just attentive, as if the ground itself was listening back. Then the silhouettes appeared, not solid and not ghosts, more like memories pressed forward through time. One stood, then another, then many more. They didn't advance, they didn't threaten. They stood in quiet formation, facing the gate. Miktakantakulpi felt it first. The ache behind the ribs, the familiar tension of standing where you know you're being judged by a world that doesn't understand you. Not hatred, expectation. One of the figures turned. It didn't move its feet, it didn't shift its weight, it simply turned. Barefoot felt curiosity rise where fear should have been. Questions, not panic. Who were they? What had they been denied? Why here? Then the wind changed, and just like that, the figures unraveled, breaking apart like ash lifted from a fire too long neglected. They left no scorch marks, no threat, only the sense that something important had tried and failed to cross the distance between memory and now. Near midnight, Barefoot returned alone, not because he was brave, because he needed to understand. As he watched, new footprints formed slowly in the dust, not stamped, not rushed, placed. They arranged themselves before Obsidian Gate in a curved line, like warriors waiting for instructions, or judgment, or forgiveness. Barefoot felt it then, not a presence behind him, but beside him, a shared stance. He didn't turn away, he didn't flee, he stood there, breathing, letting the moment exist as it was. And in that stillness, he understood something terrible and beautiful at once. These weren't monsters, they were omens. They were what happens when a kingdom decides that names matter more than choices, when loyalty is punished and conscience is exiled. Since then, new footprints appear every dawn. Some match the gait of people still living, some belong to those who are not. No one says who they think the marks belong to, but those who carry quiet convictions in a loud world feel it immediately. In their chest, in their stance, in the way they stand a little straighter when they pass Obsidian Gate. Last night, one silhouette returned, just one. It raised its hand, not in warning, not in accusation, but in invitation, pointing not at the gate, but toward the heart of Dragonspine itself. And that is why I'm recording this, because unanswered questions don't fade, they wait. And the Thistle Thieves have learned again and again that what a kingdom refuses to face will eventually find a way to stand in front of it.